Madam Diana Boham, now on my mind the purpose of the program.
Good morning. So your friend is Diana Boham, Senator and Cameroon Change Development Foundation, NAA. Distinguished representatives from the Timber Industry Development Division, the Forest Service Division, the Timber Validation Department, timber operators and industry stakeholders, colleagues and partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Nature and Development Foundation, I would like to warmly thank you all for making time to attend this training workshop on the effective response to and closure of corrective action requests under the Ghana Legality Assurance System. We are particularly grateful to the UK government for their continued support through the FGMC program and the European Forest Institute. These partnerships has enabled us to contribute to the strengthening of Ghana's timber governance system and build the capacity of industry and state institutions. We are also thankful to the Forestry Commission of Ghana and all its divisions and departments, especially TVD, TIDD, FSD, for their continued collaboration and support in organizing this important engagement. This training forms part of the project titled Advancing Good Forest and Mineral Governance to Reduce the Contribution of Timber Trade and Mining to Deforestation in Ghana, Liberia, and Cameroon. The project is supported by the Forest Governance Market and Climate Program of the UK government. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, Ghana has made a significant progress in establishing a credible timber legality assurance system through the FLECT voluntary partnership agreement with the European Union. The Ghana Legality Assurance System is an important framework that helps ensure that timber produced and traded from the Ghana complies with national laws and meets international market requirements. However, the strength of this system depends largely on the level of compliance across the timber supply chain. One of the key mechanisms used to address compliance gaps in the corrective action is the Corrective Action Request, commonly referred to as CARs. These CARs are issued by gaps. This CARs issued when gaps are identified during verification or auditing processes, while CARs are intended to help improve compliance. We recognize that many timber operators sometimes face challenges in interpreting these requests and responding appropriately within the required timelines. This is why this training is important. The objective of today's workshop is to build the capacity of timber operators to clearly understand CARs requirements and to respond to them effectively. Through this engagement, we hope to improve understanding of what CARs mean, what evidence is required for closure, and how operators can strengthen their internal systems to prevent recurring non-compliances. Ladies and gentlemen, this training is not intended to be a fault-finding exercise. Rather, it is an opportunity for learning, dialogue, and collaboration between regulators and industry players. I therefore encourage all participants to actively engage in the discussions, ask questions, share experiences, and take advantage of the expertise that will be shared during this training. Before I conclude, I would like to once again thank the Forestry Commission and all our partners for their collaboration, as well as the facilitators who will guide us through the sessions today. I wish to thank all the timber operators who have taken time out of their busy schedules to participate in this training. Your presence here demonstrates your commitment to improving compliance and strengthening Ghana's timber sector. On that note, it is my pleasure to wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much.
Sure that you kind of it's a material response, the same is it's your opinion, and I know some are okay, and say, Yamia, say Ghana, Yenya flex license. and I say about a crata, a timber, and she echo a drama so. To me, crata and I very reflect, no. Say, yenya a issue. Na abano, and penny forts and I say, who says, a TV for one, you remember, shed, crata, and listen, and musify, and Jumana. Who's a brief, almost a being for swap. A ya, or mamma crata, be a friend of car. The tinting moon say corrective action request. You who say enquiry, or more actual agency so, and mamma when you say more better. Now, penny form says, so more the sacred tiny bar. And when you move us to year, no, yana and yenny in a trade. Now, and red apple anymore. As I say, no forestry, and I say FSD for any cast and my companies, you know, and TIDD area managers. Mona pay no car never besi also. Na as a company, as a more from where it is, but a miracle in one of mobile you say, Sanano. You buy a who said, you say, you have locked outside your yield, which you might say, when a witcher, you have found on a witcher, that time about one of the young. Into an education, you buy the shia, Quanya, Sewunya Saka, Krataribia, Obefasua, Obeyano. Internet actions. I a penny no so say, Yaba, and ya can say, but Musicana, ye buy a Yuka by and a soya sing. A can project to be a now project needing any say, we are mechanism. Project, the what I any say, Yabama in chair, fat cast. The government try for corrective action. No, so never ya. Why timber for you? Who bet to me a year no? Then for Bassett, TV the watcher of grants. I say about what you who said. I had touched him, to Saka grants. I live your Senate, Mary, company in Meniachu, a PM Penisa. See about the shows the Unya grants, Libya, and Pine Bang, and Albert Fasua, the Yano. If you say, yeah, Juma. And you man one away only workers in a do all problem my instruction, but over no my be from TV before the show cartel, which who say why you be here and family no more crats and Libya, a time bank and out the Fasua over here. And into your Nancy, the Abaha and Neno, Moon Waha, a corrective action request. I, the charity, I was set car, and all I ever mamma and church. Into some way, I have walked your money area. Yamma, I listen in my soul. Operators have Waha, whom my mill area and take Lydia. And once a book is here.
Good morning. But we are hoping next time the government and then the Abaha said a rather soon about corrective action request. Now, I am in the P because a positive first, the Bayana, the Bibeshiami, and Sabra, and that's our friend here, Abasoa. Can one send me the one year every room? Now, my own idea, now my show, nothing for the court CBD. It's another day that I must sum up, and you suffer status now on one banner. So, ever on bench they will come to your level, send a bear, move at Siasia, and say, Empo Bibisa, more ya, more walk, or set, near more yet, answer not what they manner, and one. And I must sum up, and you set a name, my dear, the not Obia. China and we are for the sun. No, via SCBB, Elbow said, cast bar, and yes, said, and yes, we are able, and never been an entry ye, and your person will correct him. It's who ya, be from why you ye, not all repeat him, not next one and follow up. It's the other massive. Thank you. And
Summary, Madame Lydia, am I a pape? Now, on my say that to me, actual remedies, Naya to us. Your FSD penny for way until district managers, the Kabibi Kakra. Now, Ripacho, and it's in no special order. It is in no special order. CIDD officer Wahano, assume FSD Asin Foso, FSD Bepai, FSD Dumpau, FSD Edubiase, New Edubiase. And I am a boy in answer, Eshake Costa say. And you know, near the kind. Yabama FSD New Edubiase, the area manager Waha. Sorry, district manager Waha. Okay, we be Kakra and for entire committee. And she almost said the brief from
issues with me. Yes, you did. And so, by yes, you are no more here. Yes, you are no more can't be an uncle here a church man. Yes, you are no more here. Yeah, church him. I'm so just and said, "What's our shimkina?" And then, yes, you are my fear. Yes, a boy, a man be behind the next time. Obi TV dia na ti adi na bakura na se ama enyema no aye short tie dem ase se bibisa no ya michram
ya mo se kesi fa yo ofa e bi se ye beti anokasa every bekwai tie
contractors today, forest and paying for your ship on that. And when the girl will say, Mama, my friend said, and can be a car and for the money. Say, car corrective action requirement, I cars and once a month. The idea in the forestry for the contractors. Sounds a one, a my MRA, effective better home. And then I want to share one. Then post any part of Sofoma, a manum for so I and then a suchina, Bebama. Yes, you have near Babishian said, Secas and by the sea now, you did to move. They apply forestry for home, they far contractor for home, in an account, they have a plan of Paswa. Deforestation, son of one next time, activity for one in a castle now. I'm a team veteran who did the Apostle, Pedamas.
You say a veggie anokasa F3 DM 2.
And I'm the last. And this summer, a walk and then you share more. Even say, yeah, Cassie. I come once. Usha, 1 year, and now you do make a swa. And ma and pay said, TV before and I say, external officers back as the reason, my boy in Anna. He said, this young man will agree, and Sanya for. And I do also cry in Dada Prana, the best I carry home. The moment I'm saying, I say, I'm not say. You share me a part. You will give say a part. All my no way a human, and now a piano down, only to make our motion. Say, or when Tibian said, a pen on that, and man has a son over. Yes, you have a cook, you know my partners, and in the other young one, or charm. And will you say, I can't have a good baby. Eba ye nya cars. That's
They say you do Asin Foso. Assistant RM, Ebe Kasama, RM. But the one else has to ask you. And you let us say, no, she threw me, no, dear, was a man, sorry, my traffic post. Sorry. Traffic post.
No, really, I said, I can see it. I'm saying, there's also the fans say one of the greatest things. Because, Castle, they will go with them to now, I'm seeing about I can't. Maybe a team of contractors, every grant, all forest officer, all chairman, self say, will be come and ask them. And I want to say, getting a GD said, and then issue me, TVD, rep away, FSD reps away. You know, I'm saying, Tipa men, the stakeholders of why at the end of the day, CAR, about why Ama, it is in free amount, F. That's a uncle, so capacity free, and the real feeling training, you meet him contractors. The corner says essentially a meeting, a friend from here, so the mission, they are checked at their home.
Oh, you're late in
George was saying, how much of that?
DM Ekasa line also introduction still NCO.
you're
Because you're not in champion. The major regional manager. You will move district no. I had double salansa. But deputy Bisua. It's in the deputy never Kasama district no. Na Makasama regional manager. Say Akwenya no.
Deputy District Manager,
the friend Vitalis, Deputy District Manager, Asin Foso. But that, then very important concerning us because if you are a TV before back, over easy cast. The person might invite all the stakeholders, timber contractors, FSD, TIDG, in brainstorming on how to minimize costs here. Very okay. The Kakra can say, my agent cost. That training, at least before you go behind the BBF. So, the next time, TV before the panel. So, you have to dedicate costs of that. You have minimizing to the best, lowest level.
Project the Sankofa. As a simple from Cameroon. Now, the needs to see Sankofa and yet and in I go fast, and Aaron and then you see for the better son. The percentage before I go over fast or wonder or change. District manager, assistant district manager, Casada. They may be no more still a young woman. No matter who may be actually.
We did the Francis Duade. We had Mama Jonas and Sons. We be any semi direct anyone in a mirror.
Medende Philip Walanyo Dubli. TID the Asin Foso. Obia didn't say me for France. within the David Kayani, Deputy District Manager, New Edubiasi. The amount of brain in the say. So, David, I won't know forestry, this is a Kayani. Okay, Kayani, over you.
And I see the brain. I was so now you read class, I mean, say, very David Kayani,
Madam President. I would say, meeting Mama, the original manager, FSD, okay, leading the Mr. Bright, Manson Howard. And then I can and I'm going to swallow the parts of a kind of meeting me. And so, a human sentinel, a human so ended up with the beer, and also whom he answered. And he, or yes, a member and a member and money. And to be any time, the more we are power, about rating Foso, and she post, I said, it is a or has said your dear man. The good I said, it may be a car about a car forestry, a human. Say, yes, you trust on I told the dear no who said, Michiachia, and the TV before bar. And now dying companies, any FSD. Am I any back? Baby idea. A human stress ni present, you didn't go hobby. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, you share every idea, and once a raisy car, you raise it. And you know, and then second, above a boy, to my year. TV, above a boy to my year, and you know. Say, yeah, to us, building capacity on, say, yeah, you manage cars, say, a penny Vanessa training, but another then you share idea on the job. Now I improve your performance, all to the betterment of for God and country. And you are once again welcome to Central SA. Thank you very much.
It's some layer before you may have papa. No one wants some extra of more time to mediate. And she says so, the son. A Adisiana, a Bessia. Now, send your bayer. I may say, you buy you, and Muslim be a few. It's a Musana and 9 pay. Yes, 9. You decline the factor, so you're the Mama Forestry Commissioner, Obeteke, A. And now, we are operator, and answer sawmill or the Bepunye Forestry here, Obeteke, B. Now, if you are one year to my sawmill, also a 1 year to my timber, dear Muna Waba, others, Obeteke C. Now, what's saying, if you are a media person, and now at the cool, in your way. One my empty. You, ye kind, yes, a car, ye can once if we, how familiar are you with the Ghana Legality Assurance System? Forestry, and brown dear book and more said timber, betraying a farmer pansono, unim once a man, unim pa a. Unim kakra. I do who is unim kakra. And really be. As a unim, see. Would you who is a unim cry a pancho, a ding any, sir, to make a crack hours to 23 ne answer. Yet to me, yes, a corrective action request, Kai, where you be another Anna. A, yes, B, no. Me first, me take cars, and I make us a TV before to check cars and think I may prepare Ghanaian for her. If you are now many edges, Timuni Madde, what you should be. Third question is if yes, so when you be another, who are no GDA, who would now do Mudiana, how confident were you or are you when you are preparing the response to cars? I think so. Yet also 9 said, or how Ben, what challenges do you face in responding to cats? Question 5. Or say, Cecia, near Botaintia, Yedi, or Modemacano, would you who is our Tiasia? Untiasia, bet you see one, Yamakia over 5. Inti edi inti pa na TV for mutu omuka free akra no ma bani na modwume mu ana mama mo cats oni buta inti a obode ma cats na 1 2 3 4 5 na ochu suba ha na afei so adansi a wo se wo de cats e wo se wo yi ano a oni ma na eno so 1 2 3 4 5 wa o hwa wo bobra na wa select ba o watiki ha na afei nkrata wo se wo de ka ho Unimana 1 to 5. Now what's it? Now, if you remember internal compliance system, she said was so the Gua pen and also only movie and not what's it 1 to 5. After and then you made ya pay or what I power a buy. Yedi Sebusevia go, but any say improve understanding of GLAS and CAS. What say? Take cars na ye kan ho asem na se na Ghana legality assurance GLAS what is say ye kan wo so hu ade kodi na obaye enu ye anas being so betumi enhance skills for responding to cars no uyi another but wo ba prepare so benya suenhunu bi e betumi aboa mo betumi yi anu ye no so ye bi C no understand roles and responsibilities within GLAS. Why team Benia and so a forestry Juma inspector, assistant DM or role, and I saw was suiting anything. None of us all here see. B. Strengthen compliance and documentation practices. And in our barrier, and what's it? I hope moving to me I take more than one. After the last one, and he said, who should I then episode free and educate again, officer will be free and then you made it. No, it's in patch up. I'm over around Abeji is a Musano. So, and Pembury, no, NDM, one money and one who say anything before, against I was to movie or her crime, maybe a tremble, a bomb of German, and then my by share 101. A bill or cry, and no more workers, no air in church. So I know I said my baby some and let me make me the name of me a person who said, I'll pay a little. If I see anybody in Kumoy, if I see anybody in Italia, fine bang and over per se, a befaso. In the answer diner, any obed. Ever sure, I am over paso, moving as a is in the sun. And if I shall be a walk on Wahano. Here. Scanning a double pop baby and send me some ever. See, or say FLD and I say forestry for money and companies, no money over. It's way companies. Timber farm or a month scanning question idea. Over the diner, ever one more scanning, then before baby and send me some ever. Na amwabo na moyi ano nti eno koso no ye be free dwumadi no ase na otani pa odi eni ama ye di se dwumadi wada ne ho adi dada amisanso ada ne ho adi bio ofin kan dwumadi ntia na wa drive all the way every time and our papa se oba be church and for say Obosuma officer on the water and not child nature. And the DVD for no issue castle. Papa now or drive a issue cars na any Toyota, any Hyundai, near order on my mama. And never bet them. Send your bay a young boy companies. Open to me a who send your water Mujuma. And I'm part of how we break here. And it is summary, any dear pine so. Young fat and some buckets here, and then share or painful from Ankoma, doctor from Ankoma.
Good morning. Mahume, mimi anu bebree wɔ ha. Ɛna ɔmo a meni mu ɔmo yɛ sɛ mpanyinfoɔ bebree te. Ɔmo fa nkyɛn mi, mehu mpanyinfoɔ saa na me kasa na me voice ne wɔ so. Ehu atɔ me so. Te a mo fa nkyɛn. Mɛsrɛ sɛ mepɛ sɛ mehu ɔmo a ɛnɛ ɔmo tumi da yie paa. Wo a wotumi da yie, mɛsrɛ wo sɛ mɛsɔre agyina hɔ na mahwɛ. Wa ɛnɛ wotumi da yie na wasɔre na nka mahwɛ sɛ wotumi da yie a. Oh, okay. Oh, mpakyɛ wode ɔsɔre na ɔgyina hɔ ama. Ɔmo yes, wo a wotumi da yie na wode asɔre gyina hɔ ma. Okay. Wo nso so a wode wɔntumi ada yie nso so no sɔre gyina hɔ na mehwɛ. Yɛn nyinaa, wo a wasɔre gyina hɔ na wode sɔre gyina hɔ. Wo a wada yie na wode sɔre gyina hɔ na mehwɛ. Okay. And the one also one across so the solid. Okay. I think the person here say it in I sorry in a hot. We say yes, at least in the because Kuba wants to that NCA will be you know, get here the at least for the papa. And you also please one. If you are not running someone. So you also be willing. Put your channel, also in some. Okay. If you are possible, you are paying for the Ukraine and second home. Okay. I pay Ukraine. Okay. I pay the visa because some of visa no question. I have to pass on in summer. Good. Okay, the first question, maybe some questions too. Now what be some? It may cancer pay maybe some question we hear here. The first question, person will be some man say, what for forest? Now what for put it quiet, what for Iraq? It's what for Iraq quiet there 5 days. Who shall quiet or Iraq one? Afena, when you're baby, when you're not in a what you baby when you're service. I own service here at the airport. This animal may say, when any first person over friend or quiet, this animal, now this animal, what this animal say, a day and a side panel and a friend. It's this as a person. If you won't be son, not only are not so, I'll be son to the other side. What to do with that? What to do with that? Okay. And so what to do with that? Okay. So what to do with that? Okay. Après moment trans. Après bien Cassano, bébé non. Now you also on the sun. You can't say no, I can't say. On any camera, I have seen. Again, you will also papa. Also, it is a can't say. But what's it? Come on. What's it? Or say, your son and son. Or not say, you're very friendly here. And the end and the home. No, I can't say, hey, my main throw dinner, then Papa is near for your baby. And you're also so then, I also so kind. Also, so you're hey, I saw nice. Okay, and
So, maybe I can say, my friend, for a data, or walk, beat, or me, or for example, if our permanent features in the ring, and if for a data, or walk, I beat my friend, that is a
oh, yeah, this is money down. What yeah? Friend of all the father. Okay, Or maybe some family. Any man is so misa, mommy. Also, find our friend. You also on the sunset or okay? Our friend guy. Okay. What we say? So far, you part 4, 1, 2, 3. I think so far you part 3. Almost say, on the friend, on my way. And about also so the friend. Yeah, a woman now because yeah, send so they say. So what can Obi anywhere or why watch any papa. But in the first place, I never was saying yes, sometimes you call a courtner as sorry there. Not a dear, a pass sorry, yeah, you couldn't say yeah, a tip. And so no, then I said the pan of that. Or when you say everything. Maybe I know by an or tip. On no crown put at the crowd, or the show was sitting in the arena, or no bit me aboard. And so say, yeah, Papa, it is so close, but yet so far. So, you're paying between, but paying at the bank. You to me, and my paying, I am paying, and Paso and Maso. Yes, I'm Cosa. And to know who says, and I see it here. You move you has a year. Yapa, I do him, but yet Chiata, or whom said but Ediana, Neudia, and then human being, or no side of Parana, Tibet. Now, why you would be I may my ears, yet and in fact, actually, say, why you are sitting. Why, and not get far much you walk and that's forward. If you were and that's slow, almost into my food, and written as over here, manager here, so remember, friend, my forest guard. Near over friend, forest guard, or when it does so severe, or walk a brapobi on the human one, or forest guard, and forest guard, and over pray number. But so your manager is now so old to 2 and 1 year. In fact, the forest guard over friend of a so many said, I would see a year grandpa friend or I can't also remember, and so them was a couple. Sana, yeah, no more, and you couldn't it's a party. Depending on Sunday only, we park is party. And I'll be turning on the side. I was so. I mean, and can't sorry, dear, you see, yes, and and I won't say, you're going to set up that. Why did you do that? We are without that. Because if you are not even come, and we are going to be a Canada without the Vienna, as on the course of Canada. Okay. Now, not on now. saa ɛna nso ɔnam a na ne mma no nyinaa di n'akyi nti saa na obi nso atu amena bi ɛwɔ hɔ a amena no mu dɔ nti ɔmo ɛnam mu naa no ɛna baako efiri too nti ofiri too amena no mu no ɔtrae sɛ ɔbɛba so ɔyaa hwiri sɛ ɔbɛba a ontumi na wasan ato hwiri sɛ ɔbɛba a na wasan ato ɛna dabodabo na aka no ɔmo nso so wɔ akɔnkɔn so ɛna nea ɔmo ka nyinaa ne sɛ yɛn nua yɛ wato mu wei deɛ wɔwuo ntumi ma wei deɛ wɔwuo ntumi ma na deɛ ɔda mu no soso no emu wa nti wɔn te neɛ ɔmo wɔ soro no ɛɛka nti ɔyaa no afɔ so na wasan te ato mu ɔyaa no afɔ so na wasan te ato mu nti wei na baako asɔ ɔmo nyinaa bɛ so ɔmo gya kɔkɔra ɛna wei deɛ ɔgya mpo ne ho ɔbɛtɔ ɔmo ɛna ɔmo bisa ne sɛ na yɛ dɛn na wei deɛ ɔtumi gyina ne ho tumi paa ɔsɛ ɔmo gyina kɔnkɔn no so a ɔmo yɛ hwehwehwehwehwehwehwehwe no onim sɛ nea ɔmo ka kyerɛ no wɔ mu ara sɛ wei deɛ ɔbɛtumi ayɛ so ɔsi wei deɛ ɔbɛtumi ayɛ so ɔbɛba wei deɛ ɔbɛtumi ayɛ ɔbɛba iwɔ ɔmo so ɔmo gyina hɔ ɛsoro no nea ɔmo ka nso yɛ nya no kɔnkɔn nea ayɛ yɛ yɛ dɔɔso sɛnea tie biara no ɔtumi ma nea ayɛ yi ɔwɔ waka ɛno ne adɛ ba ɛnam so na ɔno no nte na ɔwɔ gyidie wɔ mu sɛ ɔmo so ɔbɛba ne ti finally ɔtumi ba sometimes neɛ mepɛ sɛ yɛ borɔ yɛ adwene ɛne sɛ ebi wɔ hɔ a ne wo ba ɔyɛ wadwene sɛ deɛ yɛ bɛkyerɛ no wei deɛ saa ne ti ebi biara ti yidifoɔ no ba ɔmo bɛkeka ɛmfa nti ebi a na nya deɛ bɛfa but na de hyɛ ho nkuran sɛ ɛnɛ no fa hyɛ wo tirim sɛ neɛ wobɛsua wobɛte aseɛ na wo ankasa wobɛfa na wode ayɛ deɛ wɔ sɛ wo sɛ wode hyɛ wo tirim sɛ nnɛ adesua no ɛbɛsi yie na ɛbɛkɔ yie a yɛbɛwie exercises kakra a yɛbɛka sɛ yɛyɛ mene wo mmienu nyinaa na afei wobɛhu sɛ na saa deɛ wei ti no da biara yɛ a na yɛgya ama forest anaasɛ wei ti no da biara yɛ a na yɛgya yɛ a yɛntumi anyɛ yɛ ade yɛde hyɛ yɛ mu a yɛbɛtumi ayɛ na ɛbɛsi yie good now let's go to this issue okay so ɛnɛ adeɛ a yɛbɛkyɛ no ɛyɛ maame mage ɛkasa no ɔka biribi a ne yɛsɛ yɛfrɛ de sɛ yɛsɛ yɛbɛkyɛ cars asɛ yɛbɛkyɛ cars now before a bɛka cars no ho asɛm mepɛ sɛ mede adeɛ yɛ no fa to ho kakra ansa na yɛatoa so wahu sɛ yɛn sɛsɛ Ghanafoɔ yɛgya house no kɔtɔkɔ bɔɔl no koraa ka deɛ yɛhwɛ Barcelona ne Chelsea ne Arsenal ne ada na yɛn yɛhwɛ bɔɔl no wahu sɛ yɛbɔ bɔɔl a ɛwɔ hɔ a na obi ɛkɔtwa obi otwa ne trabɔde na referee no ama ne dɛ yellow card yɛsɛ wɔma na akokɔ bɔ yi na akokɔ sradeɛ no de akyerɛ no yɛn yɛakokɔ sradeɛ no sɛ yɛyɛ adwuma no ebia na yɛayɛ adwuma no wɔ kwan bi so a antotɔ yie ɛno nti yɛakokɔ sradeɛ a yɛyɛ yi kyerɛ no ɛne yɛfrɛ no corrective action request and requirement ɛno ne kaa na ntemage ɛsɛ memfa kaa mmra but me so koraa nso mamfa Toyota enti no ɛno ne adeɛ a yɛyɛ na ɛnɛ no nea ɛbɛdi kan ahwɛ nea ɛdi kan ɛyɛ Ghana Timber Legality Assurance System ɛyɛka Timber Legality Assurance System na ɛno kyerɛ sɛ adwuma a yɛdi biara wɔ yɛ timber dwuma mu mmara pɔn a ɛda ho nyinaa ɛno yɛbɛkyerɛ saa mmara pɔn and then yɛfiri hɔ a na yɛafa auditors na wotu ɛkwan bɛn so na ɛdeɛ bɛn na wɔn tumi ba na yɛhyehyɛ bɛn na ɛwɔ hɔ a yɛyɛ a ɛde wɔn ɛba na afei yɛaba bɛhwɛ corrective action na ɛyɛ a yɛ raise no ɛyɛ cars na yɛ raise sɛ yɛ raise na district manager ɛhansa na ɔde kɔma regional manager na regional manager so bɔ akyire na ɔde bank crime nankran FSD for so bɔ akyire de ba TV ɛkwan pɛn so na TV for yɛ fa yɛ handle ɛno nso so ɛnɛ yɛbɛmɛma mu abu na afei responses bebree a ebinom de aba a wɔde ba a ntumi nkulusu adekorɔ And yet, I may wait in our attitude, say, say, no, you move free baby, and I want up with another baby. Now, time one, a year NDF, a front talk black and white, we printing in Canada black and white, oh, printing black and white and black and white. Upper front talk, exit on my way, the director and the Casadon, you who said, say, a issue license be a friend, flex license. And until the flex license not be a fine prune about it. And there was a son who said, and your flex license not one be a fine. None year, one, and yet TNC issue flex license. A issue flex license every year, I pay doctor. And so I can, near friend, legality license, doctor can. And until free there, queen, say, TID before I was at the country one. Said, DVD auditing, and nobody will hold a fra or sa. And I said, nobody will want a corrective action 1 to young goose here. TID the ending point. I said also a wish to not take it. And until you better NDF was so and sometimes can online say almost at a very toughy elbow and crime. But my said, almost why not yet to me has spread a message. And the last time all the year and all the year said, first before you go back, baby, you walk into me, baby, it's in the as soon as money. Near my officers and so said, Sabi, a praise is son, now so as a son. The news is sign of Matia. I'm saying, you go, say, every is a son, every the other, so it's a praise is son. I will say yes, so it's a son. And it is a person, not TID, the Oko, not corrective action, no procedure for adult to me yet, not to come. And they want to mean yes, I don't take anymore. Or you are not say, why corrective action, no close to you, that's a CID in the year. And you're not also so. What you want to say, only and fine did that in a home, and so ever call a sending. And you know, Mr. Ramo said, the year saying, Sabaya, Oxina, and Obasa one will be a now pressure up to TID means to say, I don't know, my Lord will be in a minute, if I want your cat up, and you don't want. And no one wants to say, yes, to go say, a woman among positive, they say they begin to be begin a law woman. Sana is a fancy. It's a very the baby I'm not kind of Massami or Hassan, the baby, let's say, how, Yenya Cassano, the bit me approach and say, and that castle. You raise the M Farmer FSD, and I say you raise the material. You then raise the also company, so that all company you have a district manager and also you know a carbon and what to me as of it, why you know what to be about, what to me I am sad and temper. So they are also or can't even do, baby, I say, or Saka or Kata, that's the idea when you need a certain year. It's you know, so you can't. Timber legality assurance system, and that's a Ghana's legality assurance system. And yet, a Kramata in the kind of friend legal standard. We say it's a legal standard, what we not say, and no, and a say you can't say you walk, you feel they call a family fine in Nasua. I was set apart what we call 7 principles and 22 criteria. Now, principles, you need that a year, and yet at the phobia, you say, your 7 principles, it's the next slide material what the principles are. And now, if you will say, and you man, you have crack time, and you are in our or yes, stocks of it, you say a pump. GWTS, so we are GWTS. Why is GWTS? We are near the GWTS, near the GWTS, near the chain of custody. So they are, and your man as a free bar, a free, pioneering, maybe a kitchen from 3 Nabe locks, no 3 locks, Nabe Lamba, and Tabonia, they coming down, and no, Anna, the who were friend the chain of custody. And it also means any friend verification system, and none of the damn. A verification system from a auditors now, ever, who saw one in them, no matter how much show it, my form call, and only at this. And then, no, before, or pass over show it, man, or check what a engine of BTS. And then, a walk a beginning one, if you are flagging, say, maybe a soap, co-giant, red flag, say, be our part, and we, and Uncle, it's one more bar, or maybe can share, wait so. And Sana, the have a compare and ram. I have a legal standard, like I said, Nina, an apple, sending a tea paper. Now, pay and I'm saying, if we are, I see we are funny pan, I will say, your mouth license now. It is all they call a year, Anragan. And hey, I'm not dancing. To say what you were frozen. So for my hand, it's only also combined. No, I put it on and yes, sir. And I saw the back of the here. No, I just saw the call you, but yes, for your friend flex nice. But so I'm call you now the back for a year, Asia, and I said, baby, apart from Europe, and not only amount export permits. I don't know any licensing authority, and it has said a TID and a. To go set TID, oh, here, Dotica, now what TID, oh, here, inspection certificate, now what TID, oh, here, export permit, now what TID. They are the licensing authority. Now, you're really now. You say, yeah, you walk TV, you're signing in my way now. There's also a forest for. In the end, I got broke, a year, come out now. It's a lot of something I broke by. If I have a head, I broke by you, man. We say, I said, we did that, we know one boy, and Kuyi Kurana, or the Akuyi. So I'm saying, and I said, if I have a head, a friend is saying, I just say, any idea, I just say that he and another smith that they won't cry. So, it's in India, I just say, the pen also, I just say, pen. Oh, it's in. It's in. If you are not, I don't see for whom many episodes. I don't think they say will be a friend independent monitor. Independent monitor, you know, a Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Any EU, any Cameroon or Mafani. No, or a US for a US company. Only second and down over us. Only it's in the no, they say they are, you see who watches the Watchman. Or no, be near Kenya. It is a meme buy and a TV for the buy and here. If you are not your baby, until no, now near American I friend 7 principles and 22 criteria. I don't define what we say if you are a legal. At the a new man, so there a deep opportunity who say legal. And no thing like a walk. And then, after what I was moving in the course, in common after Saturday, it's a habit here. So they are, we can just have a habit here. So they are. And so, the first thing, actually, the source of the team. If you are not a free it's the first thing you create the source of the team. And you can say, if you are requiring dear, it needs to say you can be a free quiet forest management plan in the income. And until say, if you require nearby, or see a forest management plan, a year to my name, I point to my papa. That's it. And I said, you find the free, a full I offer that area and I and then and was said, landowners in the forming in any assassin, any idea, any opinion, or for the other free enough. Also, did you now, or mount. I have said, a good media. I said, time when I'm a buffalo, about the on it. If you are our corner, now, you're the number fooling one. Now, numbers now, a war. Ah, sign me any war, why in here, but you're called good yet. Over course, I didn't massa. Sign me away, I was in this car, when you're waiting on market and your soul. The market, and I do have said, okay, it's all my family. Well, meanwhile, before over tears, I'm a district manager. Then we will say, me for district manager. I said, we are area, me for district manager. I have been district manager. So, as I now never call. Now, district manager didn't stand a chance here. As we were here, if we are not, say, a semi cocoa phones to be person we free my line. I feel such a cocoa for see my eyes so near the car. We're here, woman. Now, see, I could be sat here and say, and then also money, if it's what yes. The coil creating is a master, no man, woman, you are one of my market. We are, and yes, sir, the air can say, if it is coming from opposite area, the man will not, or the opinion should have given you everything. Now, the next phase and also a common, what we call the timber rights application. Timber rights application, yes, I first one, the issue permit to the man. And I said, ordinarily, a amount to use as a for you. If you are a natural forest, if you are a salvage in an air, can be a coin, a coin, as we in free. And I said, we are doing some development projects. So we are not free. And I said, you also now what we call plantation timber. It could also be say a confiscated timber. A confiscated timber going forward. There is another training. How we can say now when it is confiscated timber, we are coming with another umbrella. The best segregated confiscated timber from the confiscated timber. Because if it is confiscated timber, once the EUDR kicks in, in fact, confiscated timber won't be exporting oil to the market. And so, when we get there, there will be another training session and it will be out on that. And then the next one, say, so what the criteria we are there. Say the criteria then I will say, we are our quantity timber criteria to them say, or another offer. And then also the trade area, I just had it. Now we trade area now. So they will have the team who have a fire in a bit too new category. You can't stop so there, still be able to stop so. But your team are for your stop so. So you can't be the amount. You can't be amount we are. Now out of Indiana, you can't amount. Near India amount, so we know to meet that. We don't meet that. I know that I'm saying, a better way new work and crime. Timber Libya, the man of Krata said, in fact, you did Kratano, a man and on shall say, oh, okay, my friend, now will be sad, or catch him say, oh, yeah, your friend said, we put taxi demand. They only said taxi in a week. You may get you somewhere, they might want to say, you say, you taxi never get you. I just said, on your man, you when you say once I can't be an in your kind of animal, you have the show, son. And once I'll pop and say, okay, but to be a market one of your soup. It's no, whom we are 82. And we are 82 now, open. They move 4 pen away. Until what it is, no, a friend can say, not any woman as that. So we are free and over on Tribia, and I said, what for beer? A fair money. krata na ɔkɔɔ ya na edua no wɔbu 82 a emu de ama sɛ 3 o sɛ 4 pɛ na wɔyɛ o ne aka biara nti no yɛne ne kasa a ofun so na ɔsɛ o ɔno afei ya na wabɛyɛ timber adwuma nti ɔkyɛ dɛ ne mu nti ɔmo de krata ama no ɔno n'adwene nyinaa ne sɛ yɛde ama no ne deɛ sɛ ɔnkuku nnua nti no osii mu a na ɔhyɛ ase sɛ wɔbu na boys na bɛpie so ɔhun sɛ ne yɛ ɛhyɛ wɔ yɛma ɔkrata a wode ɔnte ase a ɛno ti na forestry mpanyinfoɔ no wɔ kobisabisa no kyerɛ wo. And so those are what we call the timber harvesting. So we say harvesting operations near I say the ATI comes under the timber harvesting. And so that is also a new one year. It means that fat ne so and or say it raises a yellow card and a chair. And then transportation. What would we have on here? Yes, so amount. Some be in the room. I don't train the bird for yes, it's a lot of sort of a home and crata and so. And I feel okay. One fan or 2 bedroom, what the cook processing meal. Until the bones of their cost of meal, and also the away here, set in sea. But first, my chance here. Who said, CID, not your issue, doctor. And the amount. Sawmill beer, sawmill na kasakora be register. It is no one realm TID in pulling, and so we could do on not TID the aircraft. But the same is because TID will register here on the system will not allow you to issue nothing to that. But then and then you realize that TID will have to also come. And one of the key things when the chassis infractions are everything over the period, it will come out and say. What did you undertake the sawmill? I was also trying to TID the area, the old beating, inspector old beating. Ever make ready. Now stamping out, it was stamped quite so it is passed for me. But who said, the only do the sawmill will try it. Oh, never said, hello, I have a branca. One train now, so then, what tried the only I didn't the aspects of it, I say. It's in the trade and also documentation. And also and also it's also part of a new man, timber and then when we need a car, what they will be also to stampage fee or so. We go over to Niana, over to your stampage fee. So first, and I can against Wawa, and now they against it would do prayer or so. So, now I'm veering into the next first one, which I will say legal standard. Now I feel a coaching of custody. I have read the GWTS. And the GWTS, say the chassis, if we say, the kind can say, you're very kind, which is the stock of it. If you're kind stock of it now, near officer or a cooking kind, not and also your handheld device, our no Asin Foso. It's also a open one, not a Asin Foso and their core system. Oba, what would you know? I mean, the ATI. Yes, sir. Oh, man, it's in the ATI, and I never saw handheld on the Asin Foso, their core. Now, LMCC, you're going to have a system, and I don't see any way. A more system, or system, so or so they wait in LMCC among or ever so LMCC, and also. And it's a good mailer, not mail arrival, any idea voting, any idea in the boom. It's also input and output sheets. So, I said, opaque, now we have production sheets in you can get it also in the system. It's a pay meal processing and in the when you are simply or WTS. It's only here documents, say a year nothing, say here for export, any idea. So this is how the architecture of the system works with. Now I feel when you are now in terms of how vitalists, in terms of how I feel system no you can say you ma red flag send is fine na dey ba ko mu say enam say ye budua ye ko kan bia ye ka ego system ni ebe bia ni ebe system say na face system is fa eye na kuma we ye bia in fan say bia be na ye fa manager bro ye fan say of from Emre Loxo any if you are not three CIF far now for your clinic waiting there to castle now they are forced to now be called now boy can't be an answer system in the CIF who say first and show you CIF made their fantasy and who say you can't lock so and also about who say lock volume not to sing 3 volume in the brain not a flag. I said, no, continue to for the drug. It's in the system will show to you, say, or reconcile it, a flag it, to go the choir, and need. But who say, system not so my free hands. Say, over flag it. It's in the blue, I say, yeah, wow, we get LMCs. What also said that maybe a flag for system to Yama way. But to be over, I say, yeah, my question should go for some, yeah, my. It will go, oh, yeah, so on the system, you will see say system has flag, say radius and queen. Now let's go and see what some of the things the system flags are. In the system, if you have a flag here, may can be said. Or say stock number found in the stock survey, but not marked as a yield stream. Why did you actually say or say stock number has been found, but it has not been marked as a yield. I don't know, yeah, I can say, thank you. Thank you. And only I saw a couple outside the yield because stock number now won't move. And we won't say a kind here, but you are farm man the sell of farm. So who said that? And not a flag inside. Now, Yamra has it. I say, lock volumes are more than the 3 volumes. I don't know how many say or it will say, or say, lock or no volume, they pick up home. And those not 2 hours be an answer. It's in company, and our company is and the walker. Good. And the walker, the whole really. So, but who say, and the walker near, I feel there 2 hours. It's in a casa papa, and ye. It's in what say, or system also. Now, flag for course, and you was me. What was any? It's in Obama has said, you must say, output volume more than the input volume. And we say, they are also real. Sabi, near what they call it, you have said all the 10 cubic meters. And I call or sawmill, as I will call over pipe. Over pipe, I leave now we also went at 12 cubic meters. A year, sir. But a year, sir. Sir, it's in the sense also at a bracket. And don't think so. When you begin to see something money here, then the system flags it. It is a flag here. The auditors now, member auditing. Before member auditing, no system also. No one say, yes, we say at the worker volume, input volume here more than the output volume, more than the input volume. Now I say, anyway, once I acquire at the worker, or say a cocoa shady, also at the worker. So I'm saying. And these are signs and signals. If you are almost all the time, you want to look out and then come and check send your because the system has reconciled it and the X-ray and the idea was being now I never found I was a election. Hey, sir. And some are auditors and then is and some the first thing is before say 2026. Then I will do when they had the me can ye pa. It's no afe na ya audit annual cycle. Annual cycle ni say ye fa district ni na ni a chere say okay. Ye ma nipa so as we e be call district. Nipa we be call district. We say so be call district. I don't know how to go for no be afraid or say master I feel the show Sapo we our cow what is thing the ceremony man market when on tissue yes one cancer no one friend and Guyana we have friends man market say only I can do so yeah and no year now be on my part and so move up conduct audit the Tanzania as we so almost pass on the conduct audits now. The only whom I a fact when prepare. I hope some form of us. And now more of us. More of us. And to go say, we get a dear as a effect. If you had a little near more of us. I remember said there was a time in Tapa. Madam Bodibet. I just said, was that time, not Tapa, or Nona, not dear Nakasa, and she has taken the money and all shares. And the way I'm not Tapa, I mean, say Tapa, and your man pay, a 4 years, and you want it done at them. And not your border. And if I be brave, has a young woman will be brave. It's in the say, a queer and more. As I'm queer, then we issue what we call the corrective action, yellow card. It's the issue yellow card. I say, expect to say, issue yellow card. Say, district corner issue yellow card. Editor campaign campaign never responded to the corrective action. And as a district, also first, the district needed to move. That's it. In Miami, yeah. Now you say when they are failure, close corrective action. It's in assembly. But say on the back, maybe you will say you call and you say in Miano, yeah, more stamps or good piano or market stamps than on the so I feel what you come to need. I just say your market stamps for fair. This is how to need. I will say, oh, my option. Say, no, Christ, I want a free, and I said, you're holy free. It's in the then quickly near follow up, near power. It's in your question, maybe or what, or they upper come then we close it. But do what you're trying to say, yeah, so the response to that. But what can I response to them? Then, yes, I'm sure will be. I said, Master, a response to mine. Say, and that is the more reason why. And then also most companies so that Ochinano said the response near the Amman district near the Biama. Now we won't respond here. Men call Uncle Country districts in Sardina. I feel TID means all year. Now we couldn't say, I am a district manager on Pema 17 and onward exchange fund. Also, so no more the exchange fund TV, no more the exchange. Was all the human. And so those are the things in their pay a part, happy, their close. Now, we have to be another self. Now, time one, Ghana is signing agreement with the European Union. Ghana did said, now we will go legality assurance system. These were the reporting lines. And remember, FSD, NTID, FC4, they pay particular attention to this. Because now the system is changing. Into 1 year. And nobody can change you. And the woman said, the first thing I hear was said, if a report, TV report, then they call the TVs. The TVs, you said and say, how many training to do a hammer on the year afraid complaints mechanism. But of course, you saw about on complaints, and make complaints once. So the TVs, the only person members from the Forestry Commission, the chief executive of the Forestry Commission, and a director TV, almost 10 members, a 13-member committee. but almost any public you pay free. Almost coming in the last TVC, now the Chief Justice was a member, Chief Justice was just a member of the TVC. So say the TVC is, we also have an appeal court judge, also a member. So it is to tell you the caliber of people on more TVC. And the report now goes there. Now, after almost TVC, after reviewing the DVD report, the minister. Now, we are suing him. Sir, I should have the way. And the time one, Ghana signing on to the legality assurance system. Yeah, you can say, we everybody come. This was the original plan. Now, when the Public Financial Management Act on the government, that Financial Management Act was saying all state institutions, institution any audit orders on money and this casem they should form what we call the audit committee. Now there is an audit committee here. All state institutions have it, and Forestry Commission so on. And we have 2 members commission. The advance 2 members on war commission on war audit committee. And 2 members from the board. And Forestry Commission board. Forestry Commission for because board they are coming from various institutions. And so we have 2 members from the Forestry Commission board. Audit committee. But the 5-member committee, 3 of them, 2 is from internal audit agency, and then the 1 is from the Chartered Institute of Accountants or whatever. And so, who say, you have to share reports and you have to hide it. Yes, and the reports are audit committee. Now, from audit committees, almost so the presidents in Munia and they do over. I will say a prayer. Now, so be you. Only if you are in parliament and the public accounts committee. Parliament, we say in the public accounts committee. So this is how the report now finally ends up. When corrective action comes, let's treat apart from saying I was here now, Dr. Kenya. If one has your official. And also your company, this is how far your market is. Sometimes you will not be right. Now, the air can was a little also in an area. And the here teach you a become was a yellow year. And what has it? Yellow and the edge said, yeah, we need the Liberia and Macam was a winner. I feel it's a TID. Everybody issue, doctor. And now TID ever be issued a license. This is where they have to look at. And to go say, then the audit reporter, TV issue, will pop up. And you know, we a company, that's it, the issue corrective action at your consignment. That's a home file, a move and we hear Maya. Now it will tell the TID officer no issue, Dr. said. There is an open non-conformance attached to a particular company. And to woman can't have a day. Until the person one so that what you know, put as this woman so. And the cancer, and I'm the bad or baby can and until no year cobra or so to me. And you know, and until as I say, corrective action, the person issue, me issue, and my dying as Liberia. They're the very original money. Not original money that they are very desperate money. Yeah, very desperate money that I want to cheat. So see, he said, "Oh, district money that's a concern on your chance of oh, no, it is yes, every outside the hill." That's it. Yeah, the friend. I didn't know who be an anchor outside the hill. No, the offer card. Now you begin to receive your letters. It's in a far quickly. So they won't know to me. And training, and he has will pay particular attention. Now, what's here, and that's going to be Quran. I've been working, said he was sending to me, district money, and I said, area money. And I said, regional manager, and also, we couldn't know what and it's been solving in 10 before I signed an government. Now, this is how the output of the reports now is impacted. Say, the audit reports in the news, it's going to first do the cost. And so this is this. Now, at the cake, the infractions now, the watching of ETS as part of this. Now, the output of it, the flag license. So, well, they open flag license. Say this, if I say. Don't take it, they will say, yeah. And so, this is how the output works. And I say, when you deny a license, air flag license, air export license, and I said, there was some chance that not tested the beauty of a brand. Maybe I'll call it TID for a person on the mount, or BDI, not some man. I don't think a TVC. Go and file a complaint, and let's see how a lawyer for the done. NDF for that can also be a member of the TVC. Until then, you will see how. I think that diagram we already can have it down. Now you see, when I play TID, I issue lots I and I say, what more issue license now? Say for export. I say for EU. Document out here air flex license. Now only issue and I say for export. But then for European markets, but for any other destination, then you require the export permits. And I say, almost a issue. I don't take any money. So don't take any idea by a palm. Hey, why is it? So go find oh, my guy, I actually know. So then it goes to the local market. And this is how arrangements is effective. It's a fine kind. Let me see what I say. Now, maybe I said, questions be or what? Maybe I say, maybe sir. Let me decide. It's the fine kind. Yeah, the framework now, you're working with it. Yeah, the basic question be or what? Will be a question. Will be any question? Okay. Mike, you have to go.
Very good. We'll have to listen. So what is up? I said, go back. And then one, you're marking on the other part of the girl from here. Who's the pain or say, you're not going to there's no question at all. And he said, the people be happy. My person, my poor, they tell me, also they don't want to have me, my marking. Me popo puno, na contra o mar, assim como eu me entende. Aí sono, na coisa essa, já que eu queria muito fiar com presente de chamar, community. Nós somos muito dias já bem entende. Essa não é a casa dele. Sabe nem que é o. Sou de cá.
So, former the quiet discipline, manager,
okay. Farmer na kasa na deba na deba se omo. Na farmer no omo ati asisi. Okay, ti ye se si koko mu a be se epatie bia. Bia ne ba no se ba bi ono no ba bi. Ti oku bia no ko bi koko mu a se. Ti oku ye ready so to get compensation. You wait make you say omo na mo si fufu mu a yibu a ense hwe dia ne de brand ma ho fa say wait my abu.
That's the thing say. The question go na ma dem ma no e di kind compensation sa kwa bi pe bank.
Ti no negotiation. You say being a contractor no you should be able to negotiate commodity ni kasate. Experience kakra ma wo say company si be ko ba bi e ni kasa we ni mani mu bi ogu dia o tiaka obi su tru ha be e fa ko nti e yesu ban a wa da na di wo Ulogi area, one who says, Upper media, open up in a 2 is a veil of a you. A couple report all the day. Oh, Tiago, let's say, oh,
me did it on airport. That's right. Daddy. Pastor Master said, a crime thing.
So, FSDT, won't take questions. Now, if I said to one, maybe answer.
What's the man who can be said, make up on his precaution while they whom send me out see a can. A crime thing, a mofaso, a dear reserve, a map will be a barefoot. They can't a barefoot. Udia, only a dreamer who can sit that. Who be to me the reserve. Aman, there's all the man. Never was see Gua, I am Zoana. He said, we who say we need experience here. To go to a banner, Mopaso, Eddie Reserve, Emma Obi, then they are a barefoot. Or by now, Uncle Shassi, Ewu, and Professor Abba.
You, that's it. I never was able to say, Ubia or Yakan, I will find, say, or apply for us. And sending crata, some a year out they apply here. Commission what the right say or the government. But Yama assassin does not also mean, say, it is a human out for you, and some of a human being, I didn't know any other. Also, a human cell is party and the fire by any opera, and some of and until the Rano, I said, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Until they said, meaning, and I'm cocoa, and so they do free, or how near and until a breed year, so wouldn't mean crown once a dear amount. Now, says I do not win away, also won't a man at home run, and then idea or so. Maybe we worry a little shop. When my men look up to me for say, hey, what's you shop? Don't go worry, see my wife. That time we Derek. Almost say me, the take a move through. Into the air, Mr. Chinachi, but let me sure. Because me worry not me walk 23 years. So I was saying, sometimes you know I had for 3 years. I felt so when you need to be to me. Now, Ubia can be here, tell me I'm sitting here, I said, Papa can say. Now, that, my worry now, we give you a table for us. Or say, Apala, I say, what's a team of one? Put the Munyan man in it. Put the near, and Pa, Monsieur Munyan, the cover in the two. So, what I'm trying to drive home is say, oh, and take crata. So, good years ago, so yeah, then you. Now they take crata 1 year. Also, 300, any amani, Saturday, or Chinano. And Papa said, yeah, the crata animal who only no as I say, a woman here. Sana. Don't be surprised.
You know that. Said I had question idea you can be a by a yeah, it happens on companies, you know, it seems that of course within a time period or from primitive one my a private at one thing most especially district ABC is a the CNO yeah WTS every power at the same time. If the more permit that what the country is made by the also had the presidents have quite no matter how big you know, especially from sea, any renewal permit. And the people have permit a back or the manual permit back. Now can tell say, oh, good place that in here, man. Train Momunia GWT and before how to us. Before you had a no in your also and we sell also we can eat. And now I talk about red flag. Quick example, say, if you the law in the law column will be more than the TIF column. I think our common is advice to the company. I several exercises. I mean, would say, I think our policy is that more market if you have I was on site for. A boy or people if they are cyber, or you can lock to their three. I want to clean up beside me. What's up with side for baby? Why should not clean up the book? And the people are not upon to soon. Or which of the logs is coming from this particular stock number. It's not the will of one, after you will of two. If you are a crazy, maybe a law will be more than the carry. As I am a year, you prepare, you must show a day. You told me the woman bushman is Nankasa. It's better the number the law at the strong side rather than bringing them to the side. That's
okay. Okay. Also, you do that one.
Thank you very much. Mr. Franklin.
Yeah.
There are a number of issues when I realized we are coming for cars and responses to cars. I was really happy about something. It will give us the platform to express ourselves and also raise suggestions on how we can improve upon this situation. Sorry if I'm speaking English a lot. May you need to get up by With the cars raised, there was something that you said earlier. When officers or when even contractors make a suggestion that this officer maybe don't bring him to our area, he doesn't have an understanding. And sometimes you feel like if this person is saying so, probably there may be something behind. Also, it could be that when the staff are coming to the field, we need to be confident in their training, how they understand the work they are coming to audit. The officers on the ground and the conditions on the ground, the fluidity, how complex situations are, so that when you are speaking with an experienced officer, they are able to understand the level of operations you are having in the district. So it makes understanding much more easier. The kind of permits we have, and especially to the contractors, sometimes we have illegal operations. And sometimes the threat to the forest is not even from the illegal operators. It could be from the timber contractors. I'm saying this because a contractor who is not fairly charged or fairly billed will take it upon himself to try and do things that can let him catch up with whatever revenue he's going to lose. And they are the bigger threat because they are known openly as contractors. They have the machinery, they have all sorts of connections that can allow them to move illegal timber into legal timber. And anytime you feel, for example, if I steal and you catch me and you ask me to pay for what I've stolen, I would understand it. But if I don't steal, but you use some other measures and tell me that I must pay this money, and he knows that if he doesn't pay this money, he cannot continue working. He would pay it, but he will find a way to recover that money.
Okay, so what other means were you suggesting?
So I'm leading to that. We have different types of permits. For example, the TUC, we have the TUP, we have the salvage. Each one has a different criteria in being issued. We have those that have concessions, they pay rent, they are responsible for watching over the area. Salvage permits, we know administrative permits issued in situations where the land is undergoing some form of development. It's even possible that a salvage permit could be issued in an area and in the next 3 months you go and there's no sign of even trees there, depending on the land use, if it's a park or something. So an officer comes, and even with the conditions that we issue, that leads to the consideration for salvage permit. Probably there are illegal operations going on there, the farmer is saying the trees are affecting his cocoa, several issues. And the contractor, we should bear, or the applicant, we should bear in mind, is not a concessionaire. And we give them 1 year permit to operate. So sometimes a contractor may start working. And before he started working, some of the trees have already been taken. Even as we are counting the trees, people are harvesting because that was the threat that we issued.
want you to summarize, then we get a crash.
I'm trying to, because the issues surrounding this is that if you listen to the first premise, the officers that come around, when we are able to sit down and explain all the conditions surrounding the situation, we should be confident that we can speak with them and arrive at some very logical conclusions. But others come and red is red, black is black. Whatever conditions you tell them surrounding the situation is not their business. And sometimes it leads to them issuing cars that may affect either the district and the contractors unfairly. And that could also raise issues of
Can you give a scenario? A typical scenario. Because the issue in
Alright, so a typical example. You go to a salvage permit area for audit and you see a stamp there not marked. You tell the contractor says that I'm not the one that felled that tree. Because the time I started work, that tree had already been taken. It was part of the risk that, or the issues that we reported on.
In an off-reserve area.
In an off-reserve area. But then an officer says that as long as it's within your salvage permit area, every tree we find or every stamp that we find in that area, we are going to use it to bill you. Even if you say you're not the one that took it. I get the picture. If I'm made to pay for that tree, I will definitely try to find another way to recover. So if you're able to establish the person that yes, the one that I fell, I would mark them. But for salvage permit areas, there's a potential that the trees you may fell, those stamps may not be available to even mark. Or they may not be felled by the contractor. But in trying to explain to some officers, they don't have any understanding for that. Once I've seen a stamp in the area, it means I'm assigning it to you to the contractor.
Okay.
And that could cause a lot of trouble.
Okay. You, it's a mammy win. Come on, Kayan, ever said, like you know what can I say? Almost every kind can say, and Sana, you do be better. That's what I'm making. Or may audit to baby. In fact, the go of Hannah money that you have frame also. Well, when you away here, Mr. Roman, I say you Martin. That time now, I'm a master manager. So Kayan was also saying, sometimes Ediana genuinely near almost air cancer in Tibai and finding passumacy, Emma. I say, Ediana the passumacy, the level of understanding when you might be one. A touching macacra. And Untino, and a dear Amon Casa, and all the part will be passed. Japan so be a more of reserve. Anna, company, or call also for your man. If you do what you can do that. And some of them share mass. But almost say, auditors, and I'm so one see as someone sit crano. It's no buy and your company in the across the company in there. It's no not one year a baby company. A passa company no suppose unlawfully they are bearing it. It's a Cobasa. One guy, and then also probably at the Asin Foso. That is a commander. But my main children kakra. As a can. TVD auditors in before Obibe Kobe year, you will lead auditor. And the lead auditors now omukon. I think new woman on your human chair crown 10 years. Minimum. I also a lead auditor. On your human chair crown 10 years. And now TVD auditors. In fact, their form and saying they are not lead auditors. They are PK, AB was the call for the grade. I have to so, you know, if I found for food, your form, who was at Dramoso. I was here 4 years, 5 years. Baku here, Kakra and San, and then a cotton swim, also could be 6 years. And so, and I have fact a man, and Omono, they are portrayed. In fact, all our auditors are trained either in UK or in South Africa. This enhanced program, any other audit. It's almost those ones are Omo any human chain, you only lead the team. You may be an auditor, but you can't lead a team. It will be a way in the team, be a seasoned officer. And so a seasoned officer who comes to Japan say a BBS understands the rudiments of the game. Now sometimes a woman is said, "Oh, say all the time is on TV." Yes, yeah. Not say you say and you open. You say I will be painting. I was say I read it in the bathroom. I wait and you have to say. So I will be painting. I say I was going to the bath. No, you didn't have to say. And some now who say wait here also want to say. Sabi, if you are not the buya, we are first the and the outgoing. Besides, I papa, sometimes not where manager will go so. No, manager will go so that we don't know. When I'm the quiet audit, and we didn't need the focus. And now, TI5, you see, Nipani, you know, bear 2 months again. And now, you could do one and say, Massa. Yeah, TI for year, you got 2 months, you can't get one. And I'm never pay coach. You're quiet, but yes, I thought we had 2 months ago. And then a friend said, by the action, a Hollywood, you know, a whole four and we are very sick. Then you can't say by the auction if we are the five. The Hollywood, we are food, very sick. And we are in the every crowd was singing on one, something. And I say 2 months. And I'm saying, Master, what do we want us to correct 2 months? Already, you know, I was going to say 2 months. So, I was saying, who said, my father, so they get 2 more babies. It's in the year, I was saying, Master, I said 2 months. Let us see you say 2 months I am quite. I feel you're not 2 months in Mukon. I feel you, baby. A kind of just a petty, you go baby. You're going to track over the other. So between me and me, one on one as such, when you say we did 2 months. But 7 years, I'll make it premium. It's no one premium. But that's why I said, no, I need premium. And I concluded, said, this cannot be 2 months. It's such punishment. I will say demand. The fact said this is I'm gentle does not mean say the crowd we should shun it. But when you say over the period, they are I don't know so because between us we know say we get I'm trying. So sometimes and human being require. There has been a series of times that people have tried, district managers have tried to justify if they are human being unqueed. But the auditor's eye will also look at it differently. But seriously, so if who do what say we did, and you do your crop check and some of a shaking us. And so you'll be able to.
The thing that is about reporting. Piano, Okoye, Refugee, then the rates of ISA reports. It's on far, say, fear rate. I'm marking a rate. And to a man, I will say, contracted, but there's already your first report at the office. And then what we do then is, as I say, just pay the bodies of the trees. Just to save yourself. 2 pay bodies of the tree, you know, be a body. It's your band. I was contracted the buoy. I want for preferring it as sheet actually. Here we are picking the body. What you say, I don't know why. Let's try to put in place a normal mass or mobile. Wait my day, actually, you the time you are mobile, I have a documentation 70 we are not being a report either. By bus, I am my own Casa degree. That's
so what can you say? It's a question, sir. I have the questions. I'll wait.
I'm sorry. Now, Abizia Virginia reinforcement that we the country. The Juria Abizia, the copy style compared to Tik in the Sierra exotic different. Once a way look here and stop. But Abizia betting your copy state. People all can some of the Chinchina, they're good here. The need was yes, no. But yes, you're better on launch. Fine, answer no. So one when you buy your answer, I would like to be here. And the only sign of an Musumo control. Why you should season your beer, or your manager. Sabi, and you may be a fellow or back. And the also say, I made my dad a boy. And then the Americans and now we can say, or dependent from head office. Now, Ogobumiana, I'm my year man one steady stop map. Only be contact. They said me, I said here, maybe all at the Yassi. Somebody I remember was what year. And if I won't in India, you said you want to scam a businessman. Was in Miss Car, man, so filling station. And my BSC, I said, good timber. Well, what technical man, yeah. Man, all year. So, 81, when I am oh, started crying and was that only 80 Lenka, who cry you, maybe 250. Now there has no good. Also, for season, the tie of the year now, we are saying, for one for your effort. And the conditions I was saying, you are very vulnerable. I'm saying, India, find the rubber mouth for why you grab. Technical man or back of food. Only so on there was over a round education crowd and it's a problem. Oh, cry here. I see a young for down Lucia, Simon Oni, and you're going down. Now, a scan on Yama's way business, where you say. And the entrance on the far outside the brass said, who the bears at 150 trees, South Savage, 150 trees. That's a woman, competent man. Betting your boy, I'm a man, oh, more color. And there's no meeting is up. And my beer, no meeting, but would I go by. Oh, far, before me, a ball. And the Asram, very competent for 4 and you said, yeah, because maybe a school acquired your best. Now, to baby, my name was a fun. Or be a history, or be a biology. Debbie, oh, for we never for me. No, and you have a way, stop my private video, and you are ultimate report. Chief, my child, me, money, cyber, because I mean, who cyber, I'm simple. The first talk man, you know, we should be a CPR, like 3A, airport, the model about 200 meters. And so, I think I'm more competent and what I'm not.
Master, still, competent people. One competent people, I want to work out. So after we do that, we move to the next
session. Here on competent people. I think, say, first commission, I was saying to me, for long which managers. Your power man or near some level of training. In some districts, right? Say, young Casago woman. Now, your power, several money. Now, a legality assurance system makes us. I did back what a place before you a higher sawmills are registered. I know Friday, send you the register sawmill and I say, oh, yes, my word, and I saw money here. But you will be more man. Rapash may register no all right, but no premium the location and the site of the sawmill. And one man, a human cost. Will be a whole man, but you are site the sawmill now when young carry the Did you answer? Or young Adrian said, or Fenria, and farmer price for a bit of piano. As I say, you know, already know, at my photo shop, you will wait me at the first one. And I want to mean some baby answer. I go sharp. Somewhere in the year, eventually waiting a year with yes. And when I am not going to say, go off with the name maybe a year, edifying or the better of it means to hear a crowd say, hold on, you should say, entitled me, and Sana, we, every man aside to solve the Yaman legal documentation. Relevant what is meaning in FSU, CIDU, and Rambo, but it will be out to say, find it. FSU, CIDU, CVU, all the people, Tibanina, Kasankasana, or here, you two more. Now, the parasites and so on, now, easy, am I in?
Thank you very much. I think that one sits well with TID. I don't know, we will move to the next session. I think where there are such ways, let's judge once FNT and TID, we are the same organization. Let's judge and see how best we work towards achieving this so that together as a unit and as a commission we'll be able to work on that. It's a far back on